Welcome, everyone. I'm thrilled that you're here. Mm. So, I'd like to start us off today with a meditation to drop in. This is going to be a channeled meditation. I'm going to tune in and I'm going to ask Spirit what is most relevant, most supportive for all who are present here with me today and all who are tuning into the replay to receive in support of them developing their divine channels. So I'd love to invite you to begin to drop into yourself, coming into stillness, coming into presence, so that you may be available to receive the energetic transmissions that come through this meditation. Spirit, thank you for bringing us all together. I so trust that everybody who is here present, everybody who's listening to the replay, there is a reason, there's a purpose for them being here. Please enable me to serve as a channel for your divine love, for your healing, elevating energy, for your wisdom and highest support of all who are here before me and all who are tuning into the replay. Support me in coming into an elevated, expanded state of consciousness so that I may be one with your perspective. Set aside the totality of my personality so that I may serve as a clear channel for your divine love, insight, and guidance. Allow me to see all who are present here with me today, all who are listening to the replay as they are seen in the light of the Akashic records. Help me to know them as they are known in the mind of God, and enable me to share your communication spirit with your clarity and with your love. And so it is. The Akashic records are now open. What's coming through is this transmission of well-being. And the deeper you drop into presence, the more you open, the more receptive you will be to this transmission of well-being. It's the sense of all is well. This remembering that God's got it. That life knows what it's doing. That there is a divine intelligence, a divine brilliance, a divine perfection orchestrating everything, holding everything, giving life to everything, leading everything, allowing everything. You are a part of this divine orchestration. You are a part of this divine intelligence. This divine intelligence flows through you. And this divine intelligence is what makes your heart beat. It's what enables your lungs to breathe. It's what empowers your digestion. It's what gives life to you. Every cell of your body operates in accordance to this divine intelligence, this divine perfection. So does your consciousness. So does your human intelligence. And as you relax into that remembering, you can surrender into the flow of life. Rest within this sense of peace. And that surrender, that peace, that deeply rooted sense of well being supports the development of your divine channel. But knowing deep inside that while it may appear chaotic at times, or the world around us or the circumstances of our lives, there is an intelligence that is far beyond the capacity of our human minds to understand, that is orchestrating all of it. Resting in faith, in trust of that intelligence, surrendering our lives, offering our minds to that intelligence so that we may experience peace, so that we may develop trust, faith in the divine, trust in what is. And open ourselves to better get to know the mind, the heart, the spirit of the divine. It is through trust, through surrendering our human mind, through knowing, acknowledging, truly admitting that there is a divine intelligence inherent within all of it that is beyond our comprehension, that allows us to welcome divine intelligence into our mind, into our consciousness, divine love into our hearts, divine wisdom into the way that we live our lives. On this journey of developing our divine channel, there will be moments where our fears, our insecurities, our wounds, our personal ego, which means well, our ego means well, will fight against the integration of living divine wisdom. Because there's so much that we've learned here in this human experience, that life is hard, that life involves all this suffering. We have been steeped so deep in the delusion of separation, of individuation from each other, from God, from Pachamama. And it all appears so real. And when it appears real, we may be tempted to operate from more self-centered ways, believing that we need to protect ourselves, defend our ego. We may give energy to ideas of lack, ideas of scarcity, ideas of worthlessness, ideas of victimhood. And these ideas, as we believe them, we begin to live them, and they become real through our lived experience. Our divine channel reveals to us that they are not inherently real. Our divine channel is continuously, consistently revealing to us the truth of love, the truth of unity, the rightfulness of compassion, of forgiveness. The truth of possibility, the truth of our creative power as these extensions, these expressions of divinity, through the acknowledgement of our connection to divinity. We are better equipped to embrace and work with our personal divine creative power, our capacity to create in this world. To live our dreams, to remember that our imagination, our consciousness yields creative power. It impacts reality. And currently, there are so many stories circulating through the collective human consciousness of powerlessness, of victimhood, of worthlessness, of separation from God, all of these stories that disconnect us from our power, but our power is always there. We are never actually disempowered or disconnected from our power. It is only the stories, the beliefs that we hold that impede us from circulating it through us, from fully living it and experiencing it in our personal lives. And one of the deepest prayers weaved into this immersion, weaved into Akashic Metamorphosis, is the restoration of the remembering of your divine power to create, of your unity, your connection to the divine, and the ways in which you can anchor in that connection here in this human experience of life by creating from the Akashic realm, from the quantum realm, the realm of infinite possibility, the realm of God. God is possibility. God is love. In this moment, this beautiful transmission is coming through for us, expanding what is possible for us in our human lives, liberating us from limitations. There's nothing that you need to do to receive this transmission, simply open to receive it. Thank you so much, God, for your support of each and every one of us here. Thank you for your unconditional, infinite, undying love. I know and trust that you are so present here, leading this immersion, working with each and every one of us here present, each and every one of us listening to the replay, supporting us as we develop ever greater intimacy with you. Every day, dropping a little bit deeper into the remembering of love, the remembering of truth, what is actually real and true from divine perspective, the remembering of our power, the remembering of possibility, the welcoming of peace, of faith, of trust within, so that we may live according to your ways. Thank you, God, for the gift of this sacred life. Thank you for this opportunity to grow closer to you through this transmission. All of my soul family who's here present with me today or listening to the replay, you are all weaved into this prayer, into this transmission. If you are hearing these words, it is for you, it is meant for you. It is through divine orchestration that you are here and a part of this. And if it resonates with you, permission to open, to fully receive it, to allow it to work its magic through you. Trusting, knowing that in growing closer to the divine through the development of your divine channel, this will bring more and more and more blessings into your life. The blessings of love, the blessings of possibility, the blessings of your creative power. And as these blessings take shape in your life through various different manifestations, through beautiful emotional experiences, through ever increasing enjoyment of life, enthusiasm for life, they will also be blessing all of those connected to you, all of those who you come into contact with. And they will continue to grow. Mm. I was receiving the message that despite appearances, life is getting better and better and better. Ever more light is streaming onto the planet. And that light can sometimes feel or be a bit intense when it starts to illuminate the darkness, illuminate the unconsciousness, shed light on all that which is not love, which is not consciousness. But it is a part of the process of our evolution, of our continued elevation of consciousness. Trust that we are heading towards peace on earth. This is the inevitable direction of our awakening. And everything that occurs along the way is a necessary process to open our hearts to what is real and true. And the greatest power that you have in leading this elevation of consciousness, this evolution of the human species towards greater love, towards more intimate connection with the divine, is through your own personal world, through your relations with yourself, with all aspects of you, with God, with those close to you, with your community, with your family. As these relations heal, the relations throughout the world heal. At deeper subconscious levels, we are all connected, and every single one of our relations is in some way connected. So, invitation in this moment to bring love, perhaps forgiveness, perhaps compassion into whatever relation is coming to mind now. Blessing it, knowing that when you bless others, you bless yourself. When you pray for others, you pray for yourself. Because from the absolute highest perspective, from the perspective of God, there is no separation. and everything returns to the source of its origin. There's no greater joy, no greater spiritual fulfillment in this life than to serve as the source of blessings, as a conduit for love, as a channel for prayers on behalf of all, including all aspects of you. Mm. I invite you to take deep breaths as you ground this meditation, allowing all this energy that's streaming in to root into your body. I love to end my meditations by feeling the frequencies that have come through in my physical body, by feeling my feet, by feeling my legs, my connection to the earth beneath me, and imagining all of these energies anchoring in my body, trusting in their graceful, easeful integration. Trusting that whatever is occurring within me and around me is serving me. Mm. So, in whatever way calls to you, I invite you to take a moment to ground, to integrate this energy as we open to our space together in our transmission today. Looking at the chat. Yes, Jules, I saw that. Hi, Alexi. So, if you feel inspired to share with me what has come up for you through the meditation, I so welcome that in the chat box. If there are any questions arising for you, I'd love to see that as well. Otherwise, I'm going to dive into a continuation of what was shared yesterday during yesterday's transmission. If you haven't watched yesterday's transmission, I highly recommend you watch it. Oh, I love that light codes, rainbow light. Thank you, Alana. Yeah, if you haven't watched it, I recommend you watch it. What I'm going to dive into today is a continuation of that. We're going to come to completion around the foundations for developing your divine channel. So, I would say in the process of developing your divine channel, the number one most important thing is a sincere prayer to develop it. Continuously being in communication with the divine around your desire to develop it, and then having like an actual contained conscious practice of communing with the divine. This greatly supports the development of your divine channel. A lot of people who come through my training is called Akashic Metamorphosis. They don't realize how easy and natural it is to have a relationship to the divine in the form of a divine channel where we have access to higher wisdom and divine healing energy. And the reason for that is they've never actually tried. They've never actually sat down, created sacred space, come into a meditative state, said a prayer to connect with the divine. So sometimes it truly is that simple, that easy. And I always think of that prayer: ask and you shall receive, seek and you will find, knock and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. When we offer that prayer to the development of our divine channel, our channel will develop. Just tuning into the chat. Oh, love that, Rochelle. A loving emotional connection came through. Beautiful. Such joy burst into me. Yay. I felt a lot of joy today too. I was feeling the before I jumped onto this call, I was tuning into how powerful it is to come together with the intention of connecting to the divine. It's like we all amplify one another's connections and we all amplify each other's prayers because we can create an amplified field together. So it's like everyone's intention, everyone's energy coming together and then multiplying everybody else's. And coming into these fields is so invaluable. Community is such a valuable asset in our spiritual development, in our healing, in the anchoring in, the rooting in of our prayers. And so I'm really grateful for this opportunity. And it was really special to me to be able to have this call happening today. I usually get this through Akashic Metamorphosis, but we finished Akashic Metamorphosis in December. We don't start again until April. So it has been a few months since I've been in this field. Hmm. Okay, so I would say that is number one, what I just shared in developing your divine channel. Number two, another aspect of it that is really important is who and how we are in our everyday life. Something that is really supportive for the development of your divine channel is ensuring that your energetic channels, your meridians, your consciousness, your mental field, your emotional field are clear. And you know that it's clear when there's like expansiveness moving through you, when you feel the energy flowing, when you have a capacity for love or for possibility or enthusiasm for life. You know that there's something that needs to be addressed when there's like stagnation, contraction. Sometimes it manifests for everybody differently. I'll share how it manifests for me personally. Sometimes I actually experience like inflammation in my physical body, or sometimes my digestion will feel like a little bit sluggish. Sometimes I will be more oriented towards thinking that I know is not aligned with the truth of love and possibility. And I have found that what really supports our divine channel is that when those things come up, instead of like lingering in them and just being in them and being like, okay, this is how life is, this is just how I am, addressing it through our practices. And there are so many different practices we can turn to, whether it's just working with our consciousness and energy. We can work with prayer. We can work with our physical bodies. We can also work with different plants. So my favorite way is through Akashic transmissions. I come into the Akashic records, I welcome in that high frequency energy, and I find that I can start to move energy in that way. And our consciousness holds so much power. Our prayers hold so much power. So when we can offer what we're feeling, whether it's heart contraction, whether we're feeling insecurity or fear, or like in these stories that we know are not serving us, whether it's a story of like lack or a story of worthlessness, whatever it is, if we can offer it to the divine with prayer, then we can begin to work with it and move it instead of just like behaving from it. Because if we start to behave from it, it can become over time an embedded part of our personality. It can become a part of our identity. Is that making sense to everybody? And when we're preparing to serve as a divine channel, like we really want to be living according to our channel. Our channel becomes most potent when we are these living, breathing transmissions of this energy through our integration of the wisdom of our divine channel. Another way in which we can address what's moving through us is through the physical body. Things like saunas. Saunas are incredible at detoxifying the physical body. Whatever detoxifies the physical body is also going to detoxify us mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Fasting works really well for some people. Breath work is incredible. Through breath work, we accumulate prana in our bodies, life force energy through our bodies, and it moves through our meridians. And as it accumulates and moves through our meridians, it moves through any stagnation, any blockage. I think of breath work as like we're accumulating life force energy in the body, in the energetic body. That's what, when we breathe, that's what we're taking in, prana, prana, prana. And when we do the breath work, it becomes like, I see it as like a flowing river, like a river flowing very powerfully of energy that can remove blockages in our energy channels. So breath work is really powerful. I love a good HIIT workout or getting to the gym. That really works for me. When I have contraction around my heart, I love getting my heart rate up with the intention. I don't just like work out and think that's going to take care of it. I actually say a prayer beforehand. And as I get my heart rate up, as I'm doing the cardio, I imbue that experience. I speak to my pounding heart with like, okay, now we're opening, now we're expanding, now we're connecting to the power of love. And so I do these practices with intention, and that amplifies their power and their potency. So HIIT, communing with Pachamama. Pachamama holds such a beautiful frequency. Her electromagnetic energy is so healing. Pachamama is pure feminine devotional love. She gives everything to us. She gives like of her body, of her resources, everything she gives unconditionally. And it's an energy that is so deeply nourishing, and it connects us to a form of divine love. So communing with Pachamama can be a really beautiful way to transmute and work with any energies that are moving through us that could potentially impede our divine channel. Living in Peru, I live in the Sacred Valley of Peru. By the way, you are all invited to come retreat with me. I have a retreat coming up in May. Living here, I've gotten so connected to the various plant intelligences and plant consciousness and plant technologies. I have really enjoyed deep diving with Wachuma, which is a cactus that is renowned for its miraculous healing potential. It very brilliantly elevates your consciousness, offers you a higher perspective. It brings healing to your relations. It opens the heart. I have loved working with rose. Rose is such an exquisite, unconditional love energy. Sometimes I work with tobacco. A really common way that people work with plants is with sage and Palo Santo. Here we have a lot of sweet palm and eucalyptus that you can burn as well. There are so many ways to move energy. We have allies everywhere, whether it's plants, whether it's our physical body, whether it's just prayer. And the more that we consciously, intentionally utilize all of these tools, then the more we can prepare ourselves to serve as divine channels by anchoring in that clarity in our everyday lives. When I first started channeling, I called it accessing the Akashic records. The word Akasha is the Sanskrit word for ethers or space. It's the primordial element from which all the other elements came into being, the elements of earth, fire, wind, water. And in order to access the Akashic records, in order to channel the Akashic records, we must be in resonance with Akasha, with spaciousness. So all of these practices that I just mentioned and shared with you, they help us create spaciousness in our consciousness so that we can receive our divine channels. And this spaciousness manifests in our energy bodies. Like we can feel it. Does everybody know what I'm talking about when I say like this spaciousness, when energy is flowing, when you're like, you're feeling clear. Another way to develop Akasha within you, your capacity to cultivate this spaciousness and have it within you, is also by having spaciousness in your everyday life. So in our Western society, we have glorified productivity and doing and thinking and the intellect. And a lot of this creates a lot of fullness. So the more that we can have spaciousness in our schedule, spaciousness in our mind, times of stillness, times of silence can be really supportive for this. I recommend in Akashic Metamorphosis in my training at times for people to, when they're developing their channel, to spend more time in stillness. A lot of us are so almost like addicted to the fullness that even when we're going to bed, we're listening to something, or even when we're driving or doing something, we're listening to something, or we're like constantly entertaining ourselves. We're constantly thinking, we're constantly creating, we're constantly doing, and that is valuable. That way of being is highly valuable. It's productive and creative in its own way, but it needs to be balanced with the capacity to develop the spaciousness. This spacious, still, silent state of being is also the state of being that allows us to regenerate ourselves, to receive divine energy in a way that is deeply healing. The physical body, the cells of our body cannot regenerate themselves in a state of doing, or in a state of stress. They start to regenerate from deep, deep rest. And it's the same way with our consciousness. Sometimes our consciousness, when our soul is undergoing this rapid, intense evolution or transformation, like when we're going through a death and rebirth portal, we need times of stillness, of spaciousness. And I have found that when people don't listen to that calling for stillness and spaciousness, it can actually start to manifest as things like adrenal fatigue or depression, where we're being called into a season of winter. And when we are in right relationship with life, with our bodies, and we are not glorifying the productive doing state, we're instead in like a balanced flow, constantly listening for when it's time to do and create and produce, and when it's time to rest and regenerate, then we can come into these seasons of winter, of letting go, of death, so that we can be reborn with a lot of grace, with a lot of ease, with a lot of peace. And then it doesn't have to manifest as a physical disease or manifest as depression, as like exhaustion, as depletion. We'll just know, we'll hear the call. And the more that we develop our relationship with divine, the more that we get really comfortable with this empty, void state of being, which a lot of humanity is currently really uncomfortable in. Like many of us, when we are being called into radical transformations, like big changes, and we're being called to release what currently is, there can be a lot of resistance. There can be a lot of like pain. There can even be projection of there being a problem, or like, what's wrong? Something has gone wrong. This is bad. But as we develop our relationship to the divine, as we open to our divine channel, then we can surrender into these voids, these moments of emptying ourselves, these times of death, with the intuitive connection that more is coming, that more is being birthed, that this is a necessary part, a necessary season for us to manifest what we have prayed for us to manifest like the next level upgrade in our lives. So I have found that the more comfortable we get in this void, in the process of dying and being reborn, the better equipped we are to channel, because part of channeling is an emptying of the mind, an emptying of the personality. Channeling transforms us. Truly, every time we connect to a higher perspective and then bring forth that perspective into our minds, it changes us. We cannot remain the same and channel. So if we have a resistance to growth, to transformation, if we fear those, little deaths and rebirths in our lives, then we may subtly unconsciously be impeding the development of our divine channels. Yes, Rochelle, that resistance is what took me so long to actually quit my 9 to 5 law job. It manifests in so many different ways, and attachment to jobs is a big one. Oh, yes. Attachment to relationships is another big one, to that security, that safety. But the incredible thing about our channel is that it's consistently reminding us of how safe and secure we are. And like that saying, jump and the net will appear, is so true. Is so true. But sometimes in the process of jumping, like for example, if we quit a job and dive into our passion to as a way of earning money, sometimes if it doesn't happen immediately, this is just an example, if it doesn't happen immediately, someone could start to cultivate these stories of, oh my gosh, it's not going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to work. Like, I'm not worthy. There's lack everywhere. There's scarcity everywhere. This will never happen for me. And then through that belief, through thinking that, it's projected onto reality, which then gets reflected by reality, because reality is often responding to our energetic emanations, which are so impacted by our beliefs and what we're thinking. So these times when we do take these risks, when we leap, these times of letting go, they require immense faith. Immense faith. And that faith is what allows what is to come more quickly, because then we become available, receptive to it. The frequency of faith is so valuable. Carolyn, I would love to welcome you to Peru. I see that Peru has been prominent in your field. It's such a magical place. There is so much high frequency energy here. It like truly is a land that is designed for spiritual evolution. That's what I live in, the Sacred Valley, which is where the ancient Incas came for their spiritual healing. And it was known to be the most fertile place. And that fertility, that energy is deeply felt. From Anna, is it possible for pregnant women to access Akasha? Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. I feel like pregnant women are the most connected to the Akashic field because they are currently these channels, these conduits from the spirit world to the physical. All day, every day, they are streaming in. They're bringing in a soul. And so they're naturally, like physically, so connected to the Akashic realm because that's where the soul is coming from. So I think during times of pregnancy is like one of the most potent times to develop our Akashic channel and to work with our Akashic channel, because it's like our human vessels are these Akashic channels 24/7 throughout our pregnancy. Thank you for that question. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for being present with that transmission. I hope that served you. More to share tomorrow. For today, we are going to dive in with Aveyah, my beautiful, beloved best friend Aveyah. She's totally my bestie. I love her so much. I just asked to unmute you. She is a beautiful, exquisite, shining, brilliant love leader, transformational mentor. Love this woman so much. I'm going to pin you, Aveyah, so I can see your beautiful face. So she started off in my life. She was like coming to my sessions and yeah, coming to all my group things and getting really into the Akashic transmissions. And then she became a best friend. And recently I hired her as a mentor because I so value her wisdom and her perspectives. And I feel so much resonance with the way in which she accesses the Akashic realm and just channels those transmissions with so much love and so much possibility. There's such a uniqueness and beauty to your channel, Aveyah, that I love and admire and adore and appreciate so much, that deeply serves me. So I am so happy to have you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Daniela. It has me teary-eyed to be sharing the space with you, to be co-creating with you in this incredible immersion that you have created. And it really is, it's just always an honor. It's an honor to love you. It's an honor to be your best friend. It has been an honor to learn from you, to be your student. Deeply an honor. And it has been an honor, very humbling honor, to also be your mentor in this season. Very unexpected. It took my little heart a moment to align with that. And thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited. Been receiving all kinds of downloads, messages last night and this morning, and I'm ready to dive in and to be of service.
Yay. Babe, I have to take a little potty break. Do you mind, yeah, potty break?
Absolutely. Enjoy the potty break. I'm actually going to put this on gallery view, and I'd love to invite you all, if it is possible for you, to have your cameras turned on. That is my absolute preference. Of course, if you can't, no worries. I love connecting with your faces, with your energy. It means a lot to me, and it also impacts, upgrades the transmission that comes through. So thank you so much. I could see some of you popping online. It means so much to me. Please feel free to comment in the chat, all the things. I love an active chat. And I love to feel your presence. And I also just want to shout out all of my community who's here. I see a whole bunch of familiar faces. Makes me super, super happy. So, I was feeling into this moment that I had with you all to be of service. And I was also feeling into how it happened to coincide on Easter Sunday. And while I wouldn't say that I'm religious, although I did grow up in a Christian Catholic family, I do feel the significance of the collective energy on the planet oriented in a certain direction. And certainly Easter has the energy, a very potent energy of rebirth in the field, right? Can you give me a hands up if you have been in a moment of transition, leaving an old identity, rebirthing in a new one, like shit is moving in your field and you are ready and popping for it? Okay, amazing. Yes, thank you. Woo, I'm feeling it too, you guys. I am in it with you all. And it's truly an honor to be here today of all days, to be speaking into this, because this transmission not only feels of service to everyone, but deeply for myself as well. And one of the things that was really coming up, and I feel Daniela was speaking to it so beautifully and so masterfully, is the feeling of being at the edge of our current capacity, which simply it's simply meaning to us that the edge of our current capacity is the edge of our current identity. This is something that my mentor and soul brother, Orrin Harris, some of you might know him, he says this a lot. The edge of our current capacity, meaning our capacity to be with ourselves, wherever you're hitting that edge, oh, this is just, I don't know if I can just keep being this way. This is feeling so uncomfortable. That capacity is simply the edge of our current identity, AKA our current reality. And so there's something really exciting there, right? It's exciting. It can be hella uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. And basically, everyone here who's raising their hands, and even if you didn't, we're constantly in seasons of death and rebirths. It's pointing you towards an aspect of yourself that you're bumping up against, right? That is asking you to, even through your prayer, your intention, to come into greater unity with. And oftentimes when we're at the edge of our capacity, I don't know how to love myself here. I don't know how to relate to this person in a healthy way anymore. I don't know how to operate in my family in a way that feels supportive and of my own self-care. Whatever that edge is for you, allowing yourself a moment to just ask yourself, can I be with myself here? Like truly. And I really want you to take this moment to feel into whatever edges you have in your life right now, whatever feels crunchy, whatever feels like, oh, this is hard, this is challenging. Maybe it's around money, maybe it's around love, maybe it's around some of your offerings, maybe it's around your relationship to yourself. Maybe it's around learning how to be a lot kinder, a lot more gentle with yourself. But just feeling into those edges and asking yourself in this moment, as we're doing it all here together, can I be with this? Can I just pulse in the discomfort of these edges and really just be with myself? And I'm purposefully really emoting, turning up the volume on my own emanation of what this means to really just be with ourselves. Because what happens when we're at the edge of our capacity, we're going into a rebirth, but we're still in the death process, is it's very uncomfortable and we can want to shy away, right? We could be like, oh, I need to go do breath work. I need to do things. I need to, and that could be amazing and supportive. And having the courage and the willingness to pulse with ourselves in love and just hang around there. Like literally just give yourself the loving intention today, in this moment, this week. You know what? I'm going to hang around right at my edges with myself, right where I feel so damn uncomfortable, right where I have so much difficulty loving myself, like right there. And I know you can feel it. We all have our edges. We all have that space inside ourselves that we're like, damn, it's hard to love myself here. Or damn, it's hard to love this other person when they're acting like this. And I invite you in this moment to welcome that part of you that feels that way, to welcome them in, to see them as a sweet, innocent part of yourself that is simply afraid. They're just afraid. They're looking for safety. And to be like, you know what? Oh, it's scary to be with you. I'm not quite fully sure how to be with you, how to harmonize with you, how to love you, but I'm going to hang out with you. I'm going to hang out with you in this moment all day, all week. I'm going to get familiar with you. and we're going to become friends. And in that, this edge that was once very uncomfortable to be with is going to start to feel familiar. It's going to start to feel a little safer to be at the edge of my current identity. And it'll give me the spaciousness, the safety in love, in spaciousness and softness that I might need to pass that threshold, to peek through the veil of who am I beyond this version of myself. And you might be wondering, this is great, babe. What does this have to do with channeling? What does this have to do with developing my divine channel? It has everything to do with developing our channel. Wherever we have trouble being with ourselves, being with a moment, whether that's being with our anger, being with our sexual energy, the different flavors of ourselves that exist within ourselves, wherever we have not fully met, received, embraced, loved, and expressed all the flavors, which are infinite, by the way, of ourselves, is completely linked to our ability to open and be in our channel and develop our channels. And this is why it's so powerful, because we always have more, you guys. It's so exciting. It is so exciting. One of the things I'm so passionate about is really dissolving separation, especially through judgment, through harshness, because God knows I have had my own fair share of transmuting judgment, harshness within myself, and I still do. And it's also one of the areas that I feel most passionate about, is developing our own unique channel by way of joy, excitement, playfulness, knowing that there is always going to be more. So there's really like no point in like being hard on yourself or being like, oh no, not another place inside, not another edge or not another thing that I'm not loving myself for. It's more like, oh, wow, here's another place I haven't fully met myself. Or here's another place that I'm afraid to be expressed in, you know? And that full spectrumness of giving ourselves that permission to play, to make mistakes, to fuck up, to stumble and fall and have fun and get back up again is 1,000% part of developing our channel. And I even invite you in this moment, I invite you to feel into what your idea of channeling is. Just feel into what your idea of channeling is. Feel into what comes up. And maybe you have an image, a feeling, maybe you even have reference points. Maybe you see certain people. Maybe you see Daniela, because she's an incredible channeler. And my invitation for you, as you feel into what is your idea of channeling, is I invite you to set the intention to receive that with love, with gratitude, and to open beyond it. Because wherever we are holding on to our idea of anything is where we are limiting it. And I really want this to land, because you're getting to be with a bunch of super dope next level channelers who have different flavors of their own channel. You have the Daniela Gill flavor, which clearly I cannot get enough of in my in my life. She is my life wife, my platonic life wife forever. I love her flavor of her channel, her love. You got some Mia Magic flavor, and you're getting some Aveyah kind of love in this moment. And so I invite you to feel into whatever idea you might have of what channeling is, and receive it, appreciate it, and align your energy in the knowing that it is so much greater than that. And when you expand beyond that, receive that, enjoy that, embody that, and know the same thing is true, that it is so much bigger than that still, and that it's infinite in that way. It's infinite in that way. And when I use the word channeling here, by the way, it is synonymous to love, unity, abundance. So I encourage you to even do the same exercise here. Think of, what is love? What is my idea of love? What is my idea of love? What comes up for you? Love has been my greatest obsession, my greatest passion. It is my greatest devotion in this life. And my ideas of what love is has tremendously evolved over the years. And like not too long ago, I believed that my idea of love was a very soft version of love. It was one of love and light, understanding, compassion. Perhaps those are some of the flavors that came up for you guys when you tuned into what is the idea of love? What does that mean to me? And I have found that through my devotion, my obsessional devotion to love, and what that devotion has allowed for me, and not just in becoming the woman I am, but how it has been reflected in my reality, it has continuously, completely, literally, like, I'm thinking in French right now. I need to turn sometimes I have words. My soul sister Laurence has been in town, so we've been speaking in French, and now I'm like thinking of words in French. Time and time again, what I have come to in those moments is that whatever my idea of love is in that moment, it has completely become obliterated. There's the word that I was thinking of. Obliterated. And it's gotten bigger. And when I got to that level, the same thing has happened. It got obliterated, a death, a rebirth, and then it got bigger. And so I share this with you so that you can open yourself up to being in the curiosity, in the inquisitive wonder of what your unique version of your channel, your love, your form of infinite abundance that is always available, to open up to what that might be like that you are still blinded to in this moment. Because the unknown, wherever we don't know what love truly is, what our channel truly looks like, that is where I promise you, you will find so much of the abundance of your potential, the abundance of love, intimacy, connection, opportunity that is available. It lies outside of whatever our idea is of channeling, being in my power, being, you know, and one thing I'd really love to, I love instilling some very practical things that we can all do here and now to actually develop our unique channel. I want you to feel into the full spectrum flavors of who you are. And I especially want you to feel into, in this moment, feel into the flavors of who you are that might not be as expressed, that might be still in the realms of desires. And I even want you to feel into the flavors of who you are that you might not like all that much. Really feel into the full spectrum. And perhaps even flavors of who you are that were more prominent as a child and less so now. And as you feel into this, I want you to include all of the full spectrum of the magnificence of who you are, of all of those unique flavors of you. I want you to include all of it into your receiving of your channel, into the developing of your channel, to include all of it, including the messy parts, by the way. Like, let's not forget those. Let's not forget the messy parts, the chaotic parts, the I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life parts of ourselves. Can we relate here? Can we get some hands up? Who here feels like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing? Like half the time, I literally don't. Right. Let's include those parts of ourselves. Yeah. Let's include those. And I invite you to set your own prayer here in desiring to discover who you are. What does love truly mean to you? What does being in your channel and how it wants to be expressed? What may that look like for you? And to invite life, to invite God to lovingly reveal that to you through inspiration, through little breadcrumbs. Hey girl, maybe try that like pole dancing class you've been wanting to. Whatever the thing might be, but invite it in and set that prayer out and set it often. Because wherever we hold separation within ourselves, the degree to which we hold separation within ourselves is the degree to which we are not fully living at our fullest potential. And the consolation in that is we're always going to be living in some form of separation. So it doesn't matter. It just gets to be a game. It gets to be fun, right? We're always going to discover, oh, a new little spot over here inside myself that like, ooh, needs some love, feeling separation here, right? And it gets to be something that's like, oh, wow, I'm going to love myself here. And I want to even put Yeah, what's coming through in this moment that feels really potent is to highlight the hidden parts in which we operate within ourselves and in our lives where we're not even aware that we're operating in separation. So that's where literally so much of our channel, our love, the abundance that's available to us, there's like, is available there. And what's coming through right now is to highlight some of those areas that might actually be blind spots in this moment. For example, wherever you may feel in your life where there's separation between being in your devotion to your spirituality, to God, and money. Can you raise your hand if you felt that? I definitely have. I've had my own evolution in that. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. Let's send love to ourselves there. Let's have compassion for ourselves there. Yeah, it is a journey. It's a journey. And even just bringing that more to surface and knowing, even just in the knowing that there is no separation between God and money. And even if I may not fully feel that, or I may not fully know what that is, I can trust and align my energy in that direction. And I can love myself wherever I feel separation. Can you feel the unification that's happening there? That even in the separation, I'm having trouble in this moment finding where God and my spiritual practice and devotion is meeting me in my desires for my financial abundance. I'm having trouble. That's just honest. That's truth, right? I'm going to be with myself there. I'm going to pulse with myself there. I'm not going to override and be like, oh no, it's all love and light, guys. I'm good. And like be holding it up here, right? No, we can be in that, and we can be in the, wow, I'm learning here. I'm expanding here. I'm coming into greater unity. I'm being guided here. I'm trusting. I'm not quite there yet. I'm still scared, still afraid. I might not fully be provided for, and that's okay. Can you guys feel the unity that gets to come from that? It's not about, oh yes, I totally feel it when we don't. It's like, no, it's unifying with what is, with what's present. Even when that means that's not present. That's the paradox. Honestly, I feel so passionate about the moments of like paradox that we can be conflicted in a moment. Like if I do this for this person, then I'll be abandoning myself. Like whatever, is like moment is occurring within us. Those are some of the most potent, juiciest moments where we have the most trouble being with. Let it be known that that is your greatest invitation in that moment for unity, and that the unification of those seemingly contradictory and opposing experiences is literally the obliteration of it into more of your power, more of the access to your channel, to more of your love, to more harmony, peace. And it takes courage. It takes courage to be in those moments. And when we do it often enough, well, it gets easier, but the challenges become at a higher level too. So, I mean, it's just like you keep growing, but really inviting you. I keep getting this reminder, this to illuminate these aspects here, keeps coming back, to notice wherever you feel innocent separation in your life, be it God, money, masculine, feminine. Now I'm in my feminine. Now I'm in my feminine. And now I'm in my masculine. Now I'm in my doing. Now I'm in the, there is a, it's one thing. It's literally one energy. Same thing if we're talking about will, being in our will, right? It's so beautiful because actually channeling is the perfect, it's literally the state of union with all. It's the unification of both being in our will and in true surrender, which can seem so like to the brain, it's like, like what? Like surrender, will. And it's like, yes, it's being in the, I have this dream, this inspiration that lies within me. I know we all do here. Raise your hand. Let's all claim it. We all have some big dreams in the field, right? We're living our dream right now. Let's love each other in that and acknowledge ourselves. We're doing so great. Wow, I'm living in a dream right now. Who I am now is a version of myself that I once dreamed of. I'm amazing. Yes. I'm receiving that. And this dream that I have, I can move towards it. I can bring my will, the spark from spirit that is telling me to move towards it. I can bring the power of my will to move towards it and be like, I am moving in that direction no matter what. That's what will feels like. Surrendered will, where surrender meets will, is where we are moving in that direction no matter what. And we are also surrendered to however it may look like, to whatever higher timeline that our limited perspective may not be aware of. One of the greatest guiding lights that I use in my own life is I want what God wants for me. So my will in this moment is I feel the connection with this dream, God. I feel where you are calling me forth to continue to move forward no matter what, even if it's challenging, even if I'm like, what the fuck, even if I feel insecure. That is where my will comes in. And I also want what you want for me, God, because I know that whatever you want for me is going to be way the fuck better than whatever my greatest timeline is. And you do that enough, it really starts to become embodied. Really starts to become embodied. Even this home that I'm in is such an initiation on that. And it's reminding me of that, of, I had this list, I had my will. I was like, hey, God, these are what I'd like, please. And thank you for my new home. Like, needs to be right. Need to walk to the beach. Need to have all these things. These are non-negotiables. Please and thank you. I love you. And it was such an initiation. And when I actually thought, I was so sure, you guys, this is the one, this is the one, this is the home, and I remember even talking to Daniela about it. She was super hyped about it with me. And when it fell through, I was just like, what in the actual fuck? Like, what in the actual fuck? Like, God, you're telling me that whatever my home is supposed to be is going to be better than the place that just fell through, that it was this close to getting? Well, if that's the case, I surrender. Surrender to whatever you want. But right now, this me is finding it really hard to believe that you're going to come up with something better than the place that I thought was going to be mine at the price point that, I live on the coast of California. And if you know the coast of California, it costs a pretty penny to live steps away from the ocean. And that's like a non-negotiable for me. So I surrendered and I was like, all right, I surrender. I want what you want for me, God. But just keep in mind my list, please. These are really things that I desire. And literally that same night that I completely surrendered, it's that marriage between the will, the surrender, this place that I'm in popped up on the MLS website. And little did I know, God was trying to get me a bunch of things that I did not even dare to put on my list, on my amazing list. I did not have a beautiful backyard that I'm facing right now with fruit trees, a lush backyard, let alone did I even dare to put ocean views on my list. I was like, I'm not going to be that extra. Okay. Not quite there yet. And I certainly didn't have a fireplace either. I was like, that's getting a little too much. We're getting carried away here. Let's just like, and yet that is what was possible. But I also have to preface that one of the ways in which we exercise our channel and we exercise our beingness in those moments is our ability to pulse, to be, to trust in the timing, that it's not always going to be our timing. It can come when it's meant to come. That term divine timing is like so wildly used, but when you're really in it, that shit is an initiation. Let me just tell you, it's an initiation to be pulsing in that divine timing. It's its own initiation. And when we devote ourselves to learning to love, trust, be, experience the fullness of ourselves, we also become very aware of the energetic field and when we're being asked to wait. It's not even to wait, it just feels like, doesn't even feel like the frequency of waiting, it's more the frequency of it's coming. That's the frequency. And trusting. And amen, I am so happy I did, because I got a so way better than what was on my list that I was so afraid. I was like, I need all these things, God, like these are non-negotiables. Like, and yeah, I share that with you all. I share that with you all to inspire whatever that may inspire in you, to really deepen in all the ways where you may find subtle little parts of yourself that are believing things in duality, and know that that point, kind of like the Big Bang, that's how I see it. It like has the potential to create worlds, create new identity, create new realities. And I really say this with so much humility, that this devotion and years of devotion in this practice, developing my own channel, my own embodiment of love, of what true abundance means, has truly allowed me to live a life that feels so rich in all the ways that truly matter. In all the ways that truly matter. And I feel very humbled and very blessed by it. And I know that that's also in direct proportion to the fierceness, the devotion that I've had to developing my own relationship, to call it myself, my bigness, my channel, my love. I assure you that there is a life beyond your wildest dreams when we keep moving in that direction. We keep trusting. Wow, I was not expecting to like talk this much. I thought I was gonna let Daniela ask me some questions. I'm gonna hit pause right here, check in with you, babe.
What a perfect, brilliant channel transmission for today. I feel like you brought forth insights around channeling that are so supportive to us developing our channels, the way in which we, like when we can develop unity within ourselves and in a sense like transcend that duality, when we can anchor in trust, faith, and divine timing. The story that you shared around the home, I feel like every one of us has our own version of that story. So that was absolutely brilliant and perfect. And I'm so grateful. It's always such a pleasure to hear you, to receive you, to be with you, Aveyah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, love. I actually want, can I say one last thing,
Yes,
babe?
of course.
I do want to share one last thing, and that's to remind you all that if you are still in the, you know, in the beginning phases of really cultivating your divine channel, to know that that looks like a million different things. Because you meet a bunch of really incredible, inspiring people on this event. And one of the things that was so helpful for me when I finally like kind of realized it was meeting all these different people, including Daniela, by the way, who I was like, damn, this woman is so fucking next level gifted. And feeling like, oh, but a lot of these people have these incredible magical stories of like, oh, when I was a child, I was so psychic and I saw angels and I already had my clairvoyance and all these things. And I was like, oh, well, that wasn't me. Like I was just kind of like a sweet, like fun-loving kid who loved to be snuggled. Like that was kind of my thing. Like I didn't have like I literally did not have this super dope story, you know, of like, wow, like ever since I was a kid or my gifts just came online like after this like super dope experience. Like, no, I don't have that kind of story. And part of my own channel, and I say this to reflect to anyone who may be consciously or unconsciously trying to like reach for more of their channel in a way that isn't even their own way. My own way of developing my own channel has been through my devotion to embodying love. The more that I embodied, the more that I burned through the layers of myself and became more transparent to myself, the more everyone else became really transparent to myself. And the more my whole business was born from this, from my ability. You know, one could be like, oh wow, so incredible, Aveyah, the things you see, how can you see that? Well, I see that because I've permeated those those layers within myself. I see that because I've developed my own relationship to being in the field and receiving what is present and feeling into it, speaking into it. It might not always look as other people do, where it's like, hello, I am in my channel right now. And that's like super impressive and really cool. But don't let that fool you that your channel and developing your channel can look like your own unique way. And it doesn't have to have some super sparkly, like, whoa, kind of story to it. It can. And if it does, dope. But for me, that was part of my journey. By the way, part of my journey was me reaching for like, oh, maybe this will make me special. Maybe if I have these kinds of gifts, it'll make me finally feel special. I was literally surrounded by the dopest people, aka the Danielas of the world, right? And I was feeling like, wow, I kind of want to feel special too. Like I kind of want to feel like I have super dope gifts too. And the message I kept receiving, it's like it's your love. It's your love that transmutes. It's how you like literally my own mentoring clients. I mentor a lot in the realms of relationship and in the realms of embodying your own potential and putting that out into the world in the form of offerings. So I support a lot in those realms. And the me back then that was looking and reaching to experience my gifts in the ways that I was seeing the other dope people in my life doing. I couldn't access it in that way because it wasn't my way. So I really invite you to welcome your way, to welcome your way. And Daniela, she is literally top of the line channelers in terms of supporting people in doing that. She is, and it's one of the reasons why I love her so much and why we resonate so much as besties beyond all else, is because we are so devoted to empowering people in their way. In her Akashic Metamorphosis, which by the way, I participated in, it is so empowering. It offers you a pathway into a pathway that actually, in my opinion, makes it a lot easier if you're having a little bit of challenge in those realms. You know, my pathway really started through the embodiment of love. And certainly by the time I finally got to Daniela's Akashic prayer, that shit just like blew my fucking like channel wide open. So it is supportive to have that kind of container. And I really just want to take a moment to offer so much love and props and just reflect how incredible Daniela's way of showing you the way to your way is. Like, it is profound. And yeah, and that can really look like anything and everything. So I really invite that in, because it can be easy to be around all these amazing people and be like, oh my God, like, what about me? Like, I'm not experiencing all these things. And it's like, you are, honey, like, you are my love. It's just you have your own way. You have your own path, and just trust it. Trust it. Trust it and receive all the support you can get. And if that means literally joining Akashic Metamorphosis, then go for it, because it's kind of a next level life-changing experience, to be really honest. So I will, yeah, that felt important for me to share, especially on day 2, because you're going to keep seeing some magical people. And also I just want to say that the me back then, a few years ago, never thought that I would be part of the cool kids, you know, that suddenly I would be like, wow, also a channeler, like also channeling for my bestie. We constantly have like, we give sessions to each other all the time, you know, that was not part of my like, whoa, it wasn't. And yet following my way and being supported in that led me to here and beyond, to creating this and beyond. So trust that, yeah, that version for you is also here. So just want to throw that in there. I felt bubbling inside of me, inside of my channel, you know.
Love you so much, Angel. That was so, so, so inspiring. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel so grateful to have had you on here. Absolutely honored. Thank you, Aveyah.
My pleasure. I love you all. Thank you all for your presence. This was so much fun for me, like such a joy, such a pleasure. Yeah, thank you. And thanks, babe, for inviting me.
Yeah. Do you want to share with all of us your offerings that you currently have?
Sure. I mean, I have a special promotional offer for you all that I literally created for this event. If you're interested in just being in my world and being part of this epic community, if you're part of my world, by the way, you're part of Daniela's world. We kind of come as like a twosie, in case you haven't noticed. All of our, we're always in each other's stuff. And yeah, so I invite you to connect with me on Instagram. That's usually where I'm the most present. I am at aveyah.love on Instagram, and that's not how you spell Aveyah. There's an H. There we go. And online, you can reach out, email me. By the way, I love when people send me messages, DM me, let me know what you received today. I love connecting with people. Please do not be shy. And I have some mentoring spots opening up that are coming up. So if that sparks you, reach out. And I also created some really fun promotional things, goodies for you guys. So last year I made how many days was it? I made a full-blown immersion basically, and I gathered 14 of the dopest human beings. And I really pride myself on having literally the most next level community I have ever experienced. And that include this gorgeous queen that is Daniela Gill and her Akashic channel. And so Daniela, along with 13 more of the dopest people that we literally know, they're part of our community. I gathered them and I created this incredible immersion that is called Feminine Radiance and Magnetism. It is a full 7-day immersion. Some people did do it live and I made it into a course. And so the value of this, there's almost like 20 hours of content on here, and the transmissions, it's just incredible. There's missions, there are daily meditations, there are prompts to get you in momentous action to really create your life from pure possibility as opposed to from the duality and the fears that are coming up. So I had a few specials that I was offering for you guys. So think it was like 80% off. So instead of $888, it's at $111 for the whole thing, which is insane. Honestly, it's like in my opinion, it's probably one of the greatest things I ever created, to be really honest, that we co-created. So for $111, you can go snatch that. There's a code that Danielle is going to share in the email. And if you would like to actually do that immersion and have the support of 2 transformational expansion sessions with me, I also decided to add that as a bonus, which I actually never have, by the way. This totally came in as an inspiration. And if you want to do that, then I was offering it at $555, so $555, which is insane because I charge more than that for a session. And you would get 2 sessions with me and the whole immersion, which you can do at your own pace. So yeah, my heart's generosity felt really inspired. And I also love Daniela's community. We share such overlap in our communities. And our communities are also so resonant because we are clearly so resonant in our bestiehood. So yeah, those are my gifts, my offerings. And if anything, please follow me on Instagram. Shoot me a message how this impacted you. It impacts my heart to hear your shares. So that's a gift to me. So thank you.
Thank you, Aveyah. I cannot recommend this angel's offerings enough. There is a reason why I have chosen her to invest in as a mentor, even though she's like already my best friend. So be on the lookout for an email later today. I'm going to send you all of those offerings and all of those links. Thank you, Aveyah. And I would love to extend an invite to anyone who may be interested in developing your divine channel to join me for Akashic Metamorphosis. Mia Magic from yesterday, she was a student of Akashic Metamorphosis, also Aveyah. I know that we have a few more students in here. I see Mayu, Jules, Randall, I think Nikki, Vienna, Karen, Jim, a bunch of us are in here right now. And Liz and Alana, who got to practice with me on retreat. It is truly a transformational practice. It has changed my life. I'm obsessed with this practice. I love sharing it. If you are interested in developing your divine channel, utilizing it for personal healing, for transforming your life, using it in your client sessions, I would love to welcome you. I'm offering a really big discount that expires Monday night at midnight. So you have about one more day to take advantage. It's the biggest discount I have ever offered for Akashic Metamorphosis. So if you're interested, you're invited. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Oh, it is life-changing, says Aveyah. Thank you. Yeah, Jules says, I'm about to take her class for the 4th time. Just being in the container, receiving the transmissions, and the beautiful support is so important to my own personal practice, as well as support for my work with my clients. Yay. Thank you, Jules. I'm thrilled to have you for the 4th time. Rochelle says, trust me, Aveyah really does respond, even if she doesn't see you right away. Her clients love her. Her sessions are so worth it. Yes, I second this. This is coming from one of her clients. Thank you, Rochelle. Daniela is by far the best spiritual teacher when it comes to developing your channel. Thank you. Thank you. Mm. Thank you, Alana. Alana also says, Daniela is so supportive for developing your channel. I love you all so much. I can feel the love in this group and this transmission. This was incredible. Thank you to all of you who were present. Thank you so much, Aveyah. I love you with all my heart. This was incredible, so magical. I'm so grateful that this gets to be offered and shared with everyone. This was really valuable today. So thank you, my love. Love you all. Wishing you such a beautiful day. Bye, everyone. Mm. Mm.